Hey, hi, how's everyone doing? This is my first video on this channel. It's actually my second time shooting this video because the first time was wildly unfocused and this one might not be focused, but that's okay. We're here and it's happening. So my name is Talia. I also go by Duchess. Talia is my common name and Duchess is the name that I usually dance by. I am an exotic dancer or a stripper, whatever you want to call me. I don't really care. I'm also a college student. This is my dog. That's Tessie. I have a cat too. His name's Motley. On to the more important stuff. So this video is going to be about how I got into stripping. I hope to make this channel about exotic dancing in general. It is a large aspect of my life. It doesn't totally consume my life, but it's a large aspect of my life, and it's a topic of interest to a lot of people. So I figured that it might be interesting to people whether you want to get into the business or if you're just interested on what goes on. Nevertheless, I will tell you about it. Not 100%, but most of it. Alright, so how I got into stripping. So I grew up in SoCal. I did some studio dance when I was younger. Not really through high school. I also swam my entire life as a competitive swimmer for a couple different teams in SoCal. And I pretty much swam up until college recruitment, and then I quit during recruitment because I figured it wasn't something I really wanted to do in college. I quit swimming. I am in college in the Pacific Northwest right now. I'm a psychology major in pre-med because I want to go into the medical field in psychiatry. Forensic psychiatry is probably like my ultimate goal. If you're familiar with that field, that's awesome. I did dance team. What I liked the most about dance team was probably choreographing my own pieces, and I hope to kind of get back into that. For almost the first couple years of being in college, I was a barista as well. Honestly, as a barista, I didn't make any money. It was cool. It was pretty cool. I like making espresso drinks and everything. It was just good, like, pocket money, I guess, and it was fun. It was kind of helpful, not really, honestly, as a barista. And as a student, we weren't allowed to work more than 20 hours a week, so that would mean that I made about $200 a week, but it was good for the time. I didn't get into dancing for financial reasons. It was more just like it was something that I could see taking my life to another level, and it was something that I knew I could possibly do. In high school, I admit I was one of those girls who was like, what if I became a stripper? And who knew I would become it. I started doing research about exotic dancing for a little bit. I watched YouTube vlogs, I read articles, I looked at like financial statistics, and honestly it seemed like something I could do. I thought, what the hell, I was gonna try it. So I remember I looked at a bunch of different clubs in the area, and my initial plan was that I was going to start at a smaller club closer to me, which was about an hour away from my college, and then when I felt ready, I would transition to a bigger club that was like 2 hours away from me in the city. I wanted to note quickly that before dancing, I didn't know that a bigger club in a bigger city didn't necessarily mean more money or more business. There are a lot of factors that influence how good a club will be, and I can talk about that later. So that was my initial plan. So I researched clubs in the area, and I basically looked at Yelp, and I looked at adult entertainment or gentlemen's clubs. I found this one club, and I looked at their website page. I looked at the Instagram geotag because that usually tells you a lot about a club and what kind of people work there. I didn't know anyone. I did not know anyone that was a dancer at all. I literally, like, up until I started looking into the business, I didn't really even acknowledge strip clubs and strippers as like a real thing. I was just kind of, you always kind of see it in movies and stuff like that, and I kind of guess like immersing yourself into the actual lifestyle is just, it's pretty crazy, especially if you do well at it. And I called them and I said, hey, when do you guys hold auditions? And they said every weeknight from like, it was like 8 to 10. So I said, okay, cool. It was at the end of fall term at school, so I was about to go on winter break. I wasn't going to go home during winter break because my plan was to work at the cafe and just work through winter break. So I made a plan to audition at this specific club on a Monday night, but then I got really excited about it and I went on a Friday night, which actually turned out to be really good. I think it's a good idea to audition usually on like a Thursday or Friday night because then you kind of get more of a feel of what the club is like, especially towards the weekend, because that's like the busiest times. So I decided to go in on a Friday night. I picked out like a whole outfit that I actually got from a store up in the city. I got the right shoes, which are the pleaser heels, and I remember my first pair, I got like the iconic baby stripper heel, and they're like the 7-inch like clear heels. So I got those. I think my outfit, I wore like a white it was like a white chemise lingerie like baby doll kind of dress. It was kind of it's a pretty wholesome look, honestly. I didn't have to tell anyone that I was coming or anything because it was kind of more of an open audition deal. So I went in, I showed up at the club, I walked in to the front door. There was a bouncer at the front door and I said auditions, and he said, yeah, follow me. And he took me to like a little table and I had to fill out like a little form. And I remember that night, I remember the manager was running late. And so I kind of sat there for a while. I got to watch some of the girls go up on stage. It was kind of the beginning of night shift. It wasn't super busy or anything, but it was kind of getting there for a Friday night. And when the manager did get there, they called me to the DJ station to put my name on rotation so I could go up. And they asked me to pick out 2 songs. I picked out a Motley Crue song and a Stevie Ray Vaughan song. I remember as a baby stripper I was like really into classic rock because that's what I like listened to a lot growing up, but I feel like now I've gone like the complete like other direction and I dance to a lot of rap. A lot of the stuff I dance to now, I dance to Young Dolph and Migos. If you know Dolph, if you know Young Dolph, you're a real one. I love Dolph. I love Young Dolph. Oh my god. I picked out my songs. When I was up on rotation, they called me on stage and I just went on stage and I'm holding a dog toy. I remember I was not nervous at all. I love being on stage. I love it so much. It's like my favorite thing ever. But I remember I went up on stage like to Motley Crue and I remember these 2 guys like pulled up to my stage and they were like, yo, this is fucking awesome, and I was like, this is so great, and it was a really good experience, especially for like a first time on stage and everything. Again, I was not nervous at all. I didn't find anything like corrupting about the whole concept. I have danced my whole life, so I'm sure it wasn't like great. I didn't know any pole tricks or anything like that, but I'm sure it was like okay. The manager pulled me back in his office and he just asked me a couple questions. It was like, have you danced anywhere before? Would you like to work tonight? And I said, hell yeah. And I worked that night. It was really great. I didn't do a lot of like private dances or anything. I didn't know anything about private dances. And I think the first private dance I gave was to someone who had never had a private dance before. And I went back there and I didn't even know like if I could like dance on them. I had no idea if I could like, if they were allowed to touch me, if I could touch them. So I remember I just gave them like an air dance. The guy was like, yeah, okay. And I was like, yeah, cool. Great first dance ever. You go on stage a lot at this club. So I think I made mostly stage money. And I remember at the end of the night, I walked out with like about $200, which was what I made as a week being a barista. And I thought it was like the greatest thing ever. I was like, $200? I had no idea like I could make money like this. Little did I know. 200. I was like, $200? Count me in? A night? Wow. That whole first night, I had a really good time. I knew, like, from the moment that I went there that it was something that I wanted to do, honestly. And that's something, like, when you go and you audition, like, especially if you don't know if it's for you, like, I kind of had an idea all along that it was, like, I could do this. Like, hi. How are you? Thank you. Are you going now? Okay, bye. Dancing was something that I knew I could do all along, and I loved it. I love going on stage. Like, sometimes I'm like, I don't even care about the money. I just want to be on stage. But it was great. I'm like, oh, hi again. Hi. I loved it so much. You know, it's not for everybody. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't try it. It's something that you'll find out after the first night, or something you'll find out after a year of doing it. I think it's a great job, honestly. And that club that I auditioned at is pretty much my home club now, and I've danced there for a little bit over a year, with the exception of a couple different cities, a couple different places. In a couple different cities. I did dance in Miami over winter break this last term. Miami definitely does it differently. It was great. I balled out for a week, and I was so happy, and I want to go back as soon as possible. I plan to travel a lot more in the future. I just think it's super fun. It was at this moment that I ran out of storage on my camera, so I stopped recording, but that's the end of my video. If you liked it, please like and subscribe. I'll be posting more videos soon. Go check out my Instagram if you want, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching. Alright, have a good day, dudes.